Hey everybody, this is Strategywizard again, and this is my son Nathan.
Hello!
Today we're going to be doing a review of Outfoxed, a game published by Gamewright. It's for 2 to 4 players, it's 20 minutes long, and ages 5+. It's a cooperative game of being sleuths, trying to figure out who the villain is. Someone stole someone's pot pie, and we're going to go figure out who it was so that we can put them behind bars, or maybe in a hole somewhere. I don't know. It's a fox. I don't know where we're going to put them, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to go to the table. We're going to show you how to play, and then we'll tell you what we think. Okay, so this is what a game of Outfoxed looks like whenever it's set up for 4 players. Now, this is a game that's 100% cooperative. You have your player pieces here. It's these nice little plastic sleuth hats in 4 different colors. You're the little chickens trying to find out which fox stole Miss Plumpert's pot pie. Now, the fox in question is over here, and he's going to be following this nice cobblestone, whatever, path to his foxhole, and if he gets there before you figure out who he is,
you lose.
You lose.
Why? Because the bad guy can't escape until you find it out.
Exactly. So if he escapes before you find out who it is, then he wins. So you're all trying to beat him.
Right, and that's bad. So try to find the bad fox before he gets anywhere else.
That's right. So we have our 4 sleuths. We have the bad guy. We have a bunch of possible suspects. Now, whenever you start, you're going to flip over any 2, and we'll just choose these 2. These 2 suspects. These are possible answers to the who the bad guy is. Could be Lily, could be Belle, but we don't know yet. Now, what's going to happen is
you have to roll the dice to see which one there is.
Well, yeah, we're going to roll the dice in here in just a second. Before we do that, there's also these thief cards. Now, these thief cards, they don't really look like much on the front. You go, what in the world is that? Well, what happens is you have this cool little gizmo here that basically has a nice. It's really well made. This is really well made. But let's just say you're going to secretly put one in here. You're not supposed to know what this is. You can't know the name because that would give away the answer. But before you start the game, you're going to put this here. And if you wanted to, and you're not supposed to do this either, but what's going to happen is these dots are going to be how you find out who the bad guy is. So, Nathan, what do you do whenever it's your turn? You have to choose if you want to do what?
I have to choose which thing I want to roll on the dice.
So you choose either clues or
suspects.
That's right. You have to decide.
Plus, you can flip over the cards. That's what that lets you do.
Yeah, if you go for suspects and you succeed, you get to turn over one of the cards. But if you roll clues and you succeed, then you're going to move towards one of these clue spots so that you can turn it over and get some information.
This thing.
So, Nathan, go ahead and tell us. Go ahead and roll. Tell us what you're going to roll for, and then roll.
I'm going to roll for the prince.
Okay, so you're doing clues.
Clues.
Roll over here so we can see. You might knock over some stuff. We'll just go ahead and move your pieces over here. Okay, so Nathan rolled a paw print, which is good for clues, and 2 eyes, which are for suspects.
So I get to roll 3 times more.
Yeah, well, no, 2 times more.
2 times more.
So we just roll 1 more time.
Right.
So you're going to roll that suspect. Okay, so in this case, here's the goal. Whatever it is that you choose, if you choose clues, you're trying to roll all paw prints. If you're rolling for suspects, you want all eyes.
And if one is wrong like this, if it's not handprint, clues, 2 clues, and there's just 1 suspect, then you don't get to do anything.
And now the fox gets to move up 3 spaces.
So that's pretty bad.
Yeah, so that's what makes him get closer to escaping. So that's a bummer. Now it's my turn. So let's say...
He always moves 3 times.
Yeah, and he only moves when you fail on your roll. So I'll say, I want to go for clues. So I roll. Oh, wow, I got a double footprint, a single footprint. Now this is no good, so I'm going to re-roll this. Oh, I got a double. So you count up the total number. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get to move 5 spaces. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and that's enough to get here. I might try to do something that's a little harder to get to. I might go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once you get here, this is 1 big space, not 4 spaces. You flip over the clue, and in this case, it's the umbrella. So, ooh, Lily has an umbrella. Belle does not. So this is going to give us some powerful information. So. Here we go. What happens is, with this cool little gadget, you're going to set this. It has a little nook right here for this round part. You're going to set it nicely in here. Then you're going to pull this. The color of the dot that's inside, I think you can probably tell that it's green, hopefully. If it's green, that means that the suspect does not have this item on them. So now we know that it's not Lily, it's possibly Belle, because the bad guy does not have an umbrella. Now, we're going to leave this face up. The only thing but here's the thing, if we later on, once after we leave this clue, we can't go back and look at it again without going back there. So we have to remember that. We have to remember, no, the bad guy does not have an umbrella. Now it'll be the next person's turn. So Nathan, go ahead and take your turn.
Okay.
And go for suspects.
Suspects.
You have to call it out what you're going to do. So Nathan will say, I'm going to do suspects.
Okay, in this case, I'm having trouble. This is my last roll.
Okay,
so
again, Nathan failed. So now we're going to move him 3 spaces higher.
Right.
Now let's say Nathan went again, and let's say he had gotten 3 suspects. What would you do?
Then I would flip over 2 cards.
Okay, so go ahead and flip over 2 suspects. Ooh, we have Mary.
Mary? She looks like a bad guy.
Yeah, and Alice. She really looks like a bad guy.
Yeah.
Now, what we know...
Especially with that coat.
Yeah, that coat looks kind of suspicious. So we know that the bad guy does not have an umbrella, so Lily is still the only person that we can rule out.
She looks like a bad guy, but she's not.
Well, she might be.
She could be.
It could be Belle, could be Mary, could be Alice. Now, we're going to keep on going through the game, rolling dice, taking turns, trying to find out as many clues as possible while also revealing suspects. Eventually, you'll get to a point where, hopefully, you know the answer without a shadow of a doubt. Now, whenever you're playing, the kids might need a little help because, it's trying to remember what you've learned along the way as you turn over different clues and try different things. You have to remember all these things, but eventually, once you have all the information, you can know the answer. And then, once you've done that, everyone has to say who they think it is. And if you all agree, then you come over here, you pull the card out, and look, it's Harold. Of course, Harold isn't up yet, so we couldn't have known that, but that's how the game works. You're going to keep on eliminating people, suspects, as you go until you know who it is.
And we got another clue. That necklace, Lily has a necklace, so it could be her.
Well, yeah. Well, now we know it's Harold because we looked. But the point is, it could be any of the characters could possibly be the villain. It's just a matter of finding the clues so that you know who it is. That being said, that's how you play. Now, I just want to say this one more thing. It's possible, let's say we were getting pretty close to the end here. Let's say he was almost there. You could, with that, instead of taking a risk and possibly losing and him escaping, you can go ahead and take a guess at who you think the suspect is if you have enough information to have a real possible answer. But that's a gamble, so it's up to you if you get close to the end if you want to try that. But that being said, that is how you play. Let's go ahead and go back up and we will tell you what we think. Okay, so now that we know how to play, what do we think? Components-wise, Nathan, do you like the pieces?
I like the pieces. They're very, smooth. I like it.
Okay, what's your favorite component?
My favorite component would be the cards.
The cards?
The cards.
Yeah, the cards, they're all really easy to see. It's easy to spot all the different clue items. For example, some of them are a little harder than others, but like in the case of Gertrude, it's maybe not so obvious at first that there's a flower and there's some pearl necklace, but once you play a little bit, you get used to what to look for, and quickly you'll realize, oh wait, okay, bam, 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 those are the 3 things that she has. Everyone has 3 things that identify them as far as what the clues are. For example, Alice has the cloak, the necklace, and the watch. So eventually, again, like we said before, you're going to eliminate everything, and it's easy for kids to see, and everybody, so adults, kids, everyone can quickly see those items. So that's a great, application of these components to make them very visually understandable. But as far as just the general quality, the dice are great because they're engraved rather deeply. I mean, they're really seriously engraved. I can tell they're going to last a long time, so they're really good. The fox miniature is nice. I mean, these,
Yeah, I like them.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
It's like a miniature.
That's right. And this is just a really cool idea. I like this a lot.
And the back of it. I like the back of it.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, the fact that they gave it art on the back is just great anyway.
I didn't even know that, actually.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that either at first. And it's just everything about
And
this
it's a
is.
fox.
And you like foxes.
And I like foxes.
And everything about the way they designed this game is just really, I mean, the components are great. It's just, you can tell they put a lot of thought and care into it. And even the cardboard clue tokens, they're pretty thick and sturdy, so they're not going to fall apart. So all that's great. Now, what do you think about the replayability? Is it worth playing multiple times?
I think it's worth playing multiple times.
And why do you think that?
It's just that it's very fun.
And do you feel like it's different every time you play?
I feel like it's different because the bad guys, there's different bad guys each time.
Yeah, and you never know who it's going to be, and that's really what makes it exciting is the fact that you're trying to figure out who is the bad guy this time, and you're looking forward to it. It's fun and exciting. So I agree. The replayability is there. The clues are in different spot each time, and different spots each time, and the suspects are dealt out randomly, and you never know who it's going to be. So all that's great, and the way the dice work makes it to where you never know exactly what's going to happen each turn. So replayability is definitely very high for this game. Now, what about strategy, Nathan? I mean, do you think there's a lot of thinking that goes into winning the game?
Thinking? I think there's a lot of thinking because you're like, who could be the bad guy? I've got to think because there are these clues.
That's right, and you have to remember. First, you have to have a good memory to. Especially for the kids. The kids need to really pay attention and know what's going on to remember, wait a second, that clue, did we actually find out that the bad guy was wearing a necklace or not? And did they have a monocle or not?
That's why you can look down here.
Well, yeah, you can look at the clues, but the thing is, once you've looked at them, you don't, unless you go back to it, you don't get to remind yourself if they have it or not. So you got to keep your memory working. You got to pay attention, which is a good thing. It's got that educational aspect of making sure you're focusing and making sure you're trying to remember what you've learned and using logic to figure out, who can I eliminate? And I think that is a really good thing in this game. It makes you use the process of elimination and all that, which is awesome in my opinion. I think it's a great kids game for that reason alone. It really makes kids pay attention, focus, think, and all that good stuff. So strategically, yeah, for a kids game, I'd say there's a good bit of really trying to focus, pay attention, and and make decisions on, do we really need to do suspects right now, or are clues more important? Because eventually, if you only have a few suspects left, but you don't have a lot of clues, you should probably be going for clues. But also, because all the clues are dispersed in different spots, sometimes it's not worth it for some people to go for clues because it takes a lot of movements for them to probably make it to the next clue. So all that stuff you have to work together cooperatively to decide what is the best choice. Eventually, a lot of the time whenever we play, we get to the point where one of us will say, you know what, I'm just going to go for suspects from here on out. I'm too far away from any new clues, so y'all focus on the clues, I'll focus on the suspects. And that's part of the social aspect of the game, is deciding who should do what, and I like that a lot. So, what do you think about the game, Nathan? What score would you give it?
Not too much, but 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10? So you think it's okay, but not great?
Yeah, not great, but I think maybe 7 out of 7.
7 out of 10?
7 out of 10, yeah.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Well, because you're having clues and you don't know what it is, but what I don't like about it is that, I don't know, but I just think it's 7 out of 10.
So maybe you like it because you think it's fun trying to find the clues, but maybe you don't think that it's exciting enough. There's not enough action going on.
Yeah, there's not enough action going on because you're like, well, now I pretty much know it could be just that guy. I mean, man, but I like it overall.
Okay.
I think it's pretty good.
Okay. Well, and I'll say this. To me, for a kids game, I would actually give it 9 out of 10, and mainly because it does a good job of making kids think.
Wow, you like it more than me.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with it. 9 out of 10 for me because making kids think and pay attention and work together, because like I say, the cooperative aspect is very much there. You have to discuss with your team members what people should be doing. What action should you take? What action should you take? At what point should people stop taking the clue action? And just being as efficient as possible to beat that fox. And I don't know. I think it really works well, and it's very well designed. Just super well designed game. However, if, like in the case of Nathan, he likes more action-based stuff, if your kids really want something that's filled with action, this is not the game for them. This is more about thinking, more about paying attention, and using information to make a deduction. So that's up to you to decide, obviously, on what your kids like, but I think it has a good educational value, and it's fun at the same time. Good for families, good for everyone working together, so I really enjoy it. That being said, we appreciate you watching the video. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. If you enjoyed the video, we'd appreciate it if you would give us a thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. And, you know, if you, oh, you know what? Before we go, I really wanted to say this too, because I forget sometimes to talk about this. The insert is awesome. The insert, it has a spot for everything, and so it's so nice to have a good insert. I just had to throw that in there before we stopped, because that's, to me, is really important. Whenever I open a box and everything has its place in the box, that is wonderful. So, had to throw that little side note in there. That being said, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you on the next one. And until then, we will be working on something for you, and we hope you enjoy that too. See you then. Bye.
Bye.